Welcome to our chat on the transformation in global power. We're diving deep into how a 500-year reign of Western dominance is seemingly ending and how multipolarity is on the rise.
I'm really excited about this. So, we're looking at a major historical shift from Western supremacy to a more balanced global power.
Exactly. It's like, historically, Europe began its imperial adventures around 1500, and then, after World War II, the United States took center stage. Now, we see a shift, a multipolar world emerging with the likes of BRICS and the
Yep.
global south stepping up.
Wow, that really shakes up our traditional narratives, doesn't it? So, is Professor Sachs essentially saying that Western power is running out of steam?
Yes, absolutely. Sachs argues that we're witnessing the end of a 500-year era of Western power, largely because the old alliances and hegemony are no longer in step with today's evolving global realities.
And then there's the rise of multipolarity, right? With BRICS and these global South nations gaining momentum, it almost sounds like the world is leveling out the field.
Right, yeah. It's like the global stage is no longer reserved for one or two superpowers. Instead, we're seeing a more diversified center of gravity, economically, politically, and culturally.
Absolutely. I also noticed Sachs doesn't pull any punches about NATO's role, does he? He criticizes it quite strongly.
Indeed, he does. Sachs takes aim at NATO's broken promises and argues that, well, its foundations are built on outdated assumptions that no longer resonate in this new multipolar order.
And what about Europe's role in this shifting landscape?
Sachs remarks that Europe has kinda fallen back into old fears, a sort of tragic reversal where instead of steering change, it's often reacting with nostalgia for past glories.
Yes, that's a bold assertion. He even goes as far as to criticize Israel's policies, labeling them as genocide, and points fingers at America's complicity, doesn't he?
Exactly, he doesn't hold back there either. Sachs makes it clear that even though there's global opposition, the United States has a significant blame in enabling policies that contribute to these dire outcomes.
It's pretty charged for sure, but his focus on American arrogance, especially after the Cold War, really caught my attention.
Definitely. He argues that Washington clings to the delusion that it still runs the show, even when, well, the reality of a multipolar world makes that notion increasingly untenable.
Right, I can see that. But isn't that a bit of an overgeneralization? I mean, there are layers to global politics that might mean America is still influential in ways we can't just discount.
That's a fair point. However, Sachs constructs his argument by tracing a historical trajectory, from Europe's imperial beginnings to American post-World War II dominance. He points out that with the ascent of BRICS and other emerging powers, the unipolar model is giving way to a more contested arena.
So, while America might still have considerable clout, the overall picture is more nuanced with multiple players on the field.
Exactly. It's a provocative perspective, almost like Sachs is challenging the very idea that any single nation can unilaterally steer global affairs.
Yep. Speaking of multiple players, does he dive into specifics about how these emerging powers like BRICS are reshaping things?
He does. Oh, yes. Sachs emphasizes that the rise of the BRICS nations, and more broadly, the shifting alliances within the global south, signals a rebalancing not just in economics but in political and cultural influence as well. It's like a new era really is dawning.
Absolutely. That sounds revolutionary. It's not just an economic pivot, but also a profound reordering of global governance norms.
Right on. And what's especially interesting is his nod to other entities like the SCO, which are emerging as counterweights to traditional power blocs like NATO and even the EU.
So, old alliances are crumbling, and new ones are taking shape. But isn't there a risk of instability here, with so many shifting allegiances?
That's the double-edged nature of this transformation. Sachs makes it clear that while multipolarity could bring a more balanced global stage, it also harbors risks, potential conflicts, power struggles, and a reordering of long-standing systems that haven't been fundamentally challenged in centuries.
Yeah. It's almost like every silver lining might have its dark cloud.
Precisely. And on top of that, Sachs critiques the idea that the West should continue its assumed leadership in global norms despite all these changes. It's as if the world is saying, enough is enough. We need to share the load.
And that raises serious questions about the future of international cooperation. Can these new players work together, or will competition lead to more friction?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Sachs suggests that while multipolarity opens doors for broader, more diverse input, it also means that the world might see more, discord as different interests clash over the new global order.
Yes. And what do you make of his critiques on America's post-Cold War policies? Is he too quick to dismiss the wins, or is it a justified alarm?
I see it as a call to re-examine old assumptions. He argues that America's supposed unchallenged leadership is in decline. It's like they're clinging to power, even when the conditions for such dominance no longer exist.
Yeah, I get that. I'm inclined to agree that no power can hold on forever, but perhaps it's also a bit harsh on the West's historical contributions.
True, and that's where the debate gets interesting. Sachs respects the historical impact the West has had, but he insists that clinging to past glories can blind nations to emerging realities that demand genuine shared leadership.
It's like acknowledging that while the past shaped us, it's the future, diverse, multipolar, and well, unpredictable, that we're heading towards.
Exactly, and his analysis pushes us to reconsider the entire concept of global governance. Instead of a single hegemon, imagine a system where power is distributed among many like BRICS, the SCO, and other emerging blocs.
Yep, that's a radical shift. I wonder though, could this transition lead to a more peaceful world? Or are we staring down a period of aggregate conflicts as nations jostle for influence?
Well, Sachs hints at both hopes and risks. On the one hand, a truly multipolar world could encourage more cooperation and shared responsibility. On the other, if leaders fail to manage these transitions carefully, all that rebalancing might result in a scramble that destabilizes long old alliances.
It's a bit like reassembling a puzzle with pieces that don't quite fit together perfectly at first.
Exactly, it's like a puzzle where each new piece brings its distinct shape, and fitting them together requires time, trust, and a willingness to let go of old paradigms.
Right. Given all this, do you think Sachs's portrayal of the end of Western dominance is an overstatement, or is it a wake-up call for global leaders?
I'd say it's a wake up call, a provocative one meant to stir debate and force leaders to rethink how power is shared. It challenges the idea that any empire, no matter how storied its past, can maintain dominance indefinitely.
I appreciate that perspective. It not only questions historical narratives, but also pushes us to consider what kind of global future we want, more inclusive or persistently unequal.
Exactly. And while some may argue that it oversimplifies complex dynamics, Sachs's strength lies in sparking this critical discussion about the future of global governance and the inevitable evolution of power structures.
Yeah, absolutely. This conversation really highlights how historical patterns are continuously being rewritten. It's both a reflection on the past and a blueprint for the future. A multipolar blueprint, no less.
Absolutely. It's an exciting yet challenging time, and the more we engage with these ideas, the better equipped we are to understand and navigate the coming era. Thanks for this engaging discussion.
Thanks to you too. It's been a thought-provoking ride into the evolution of global power.